Kroy Biermann gets served in pajamas, says Okbai. When Kim Zolciak had Kroy Biermann served with divorce papers, it was not a classy affair. Rather, the father of six was in his pajamas and rather standoffish. Not that it is an event that anyone wants to deal with in general. Now, the person who served Kroy is sharing what happened on that particular day. More so, they are detailing how Kroy reacted to everything. Read on for more details. Kroy Biermann gets served in pajamas, says Okbai. It was quite a shock when Kim Zolciak served her husband of over 11 years with divorce papers. She wanted spousal support from Kroy Biermann along with primary and physical custody of their 4 minor children. He fought back and said he wanted sole custody along with their Georgia home. Plus, he wanted her removed from the house, yet they still are cohabitating, though they are avoiding each other as best as they can. Yet what happened the day that Kroy was served with the papers? According to Radar, Kroy Biermann was served in front of their Georgia mansion on May 13th. Yes, the same home that was set to go on the auction block just a few months prior. Per the server, he apparently drove to the home that they share, and there was Kroy with his bulldog. It seemed that Kroy was in his pajamas, and he inquired as to why this man was there. He explained his purpose and that he had to serve Kroy. After Kroy said that was him, he then wanted to know why he was being served. That was when it was revealed that Kim Zolciak had filed for divorce. So what was Kroy Biermann's response to this, according to the server? He took the papers from me and told me Okbai, turned his back on me and walked away. He did not give me the opportunity to explain anything to him, and he was on the phone talking the whole time. Yet just a few days before, both filed for divorce, but the serving process had yet to happen to Kroy, it seems. Moving on. As aforementioned, Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann are still living under one roof. However, Kim is seemingly trying to move on. She has already taken off her wedding ring and has told friends what she wants from her next partner. The RHOA alum claims that she wants someone who can pull his own weight. Hopefully, they can both find what they are looking for, what they truly want, and this is not as messy as some sources predict. The sound of the doorbell echoed through the quiet early morning, and Kroy Biermann, still in his pajamas, groggily made his way to the front door. His mind was foggy from a restless night, his eyes heavy with exhaustion. It was one of those rare mornings where he didn't have to rush, where his wife, Kim Zolciak, wasn't prepping for another of her endless rounds of reality TV appearances or charity events. The house was calm, and for a fleeting moment, Kroy allowed himself to enjoy the peace. He wasn't expecting anyone, let alone anyone who would have a reason to visit on such an intimate, unkempt morning. So when he swung open the door, it wasn't with the usual enthusiasm or charm. Instead, he squinted at the unexpected visitor on the other side. A man in a suit, holding what looked like a stack of papers. "Good morning, sir," the man said, trying to mask the amusement in his voice. "I have some paperwork for Mr. Kroy Biermann." Kroy blinked, taking a moment to adjust to the situation. His expression was blank, more out of confusion than anything else. He was still wearing his old college sweatpants, the ones that were way too big, and a faded Atlanta Falcons t-shirt from his playing days, the logo frayed from too many washes. His hair was a mess, tousled in every direction, and he couldn't remember the last time he had looked so unkempt. He took a quick glance over his shoulder, almost as if to confirm that this wasn't some kind of joke. But no, this man in front of him looked far too serious, and the crisp suit he wore didn't fit the mood Kroy had imagined for the day. "What's this about?" Kroy muttered, still blinking away the last traces of sleep. The process server handed him the stack of papers without another word. Kroy didn't take them immediately, staring down at the pile of legal documents with suspicion. "It's for you, sir," the man said firmly. "Yeah, I got it." "Okbai," Kroy replied, his voice tinged with a mixture of disbelief and annoyance. He half waved the man off as though this entire exchange was nothing more than an unfortunate interruption to his morning. The process server hesitated, momentarily thrown off by Kroy's indifferent response. But Kroy, clearly done with the entire situation, shut the door with a swift motion, the loud click of the lock echoing through the quiet house. As the door closed, Kroy stood there for a moment, holding the papers in his hand, not yet daring to look at them. His mind, still fogged with sleep, tried to make sense of what had just happened. Why was someone delivering legal papers to him in the middle of a peaceful pajama-clad morning? Was it about the mounting financial problems, the ongoing drama in his personal life? Or, worse, was it related to the latest media firestorm involving Kim and their family? Kroy exhaled deeply and finally peeled open the papers. His heart sank as his eyes scanned the words, "Papers for a lawsuit filed against him." He felt a pang of irritation, not so much at the legal action, but at the timing and the sheer annoyance of it all. It seemed like life had a way of never letting him breathe easy, even for a moment. He let the papers drop onto the kitchen counter, the weight of them feeling much heavier than it should have. Still in his pajamas, Kroy walked to the living room and collapsed onto the couch. He stretched his legs out, not caring that his messy appearance was the antithesis of everything that would be captured on camera if anyone were watching. He was exhausted, and honestly, who could blame him for not caring about the latest legal battles when his life had felt like an endless series of personal and public challenges? "Ulk bye," he muttered to himself again, the words taking on a bitter undertone. He chuckled softly at the absurdity of it all. This was his life now, wasn't it? Legal drama, public scrutiny, and the constant pressure to be something for the cameras and the world. It was a far cry from the days of football, when things were simpler, even if the pressure was a different kind. Kroy's thoughts wandered to Kim. He could only imagine what her reaction would be to the lawsuit. She'd likely throw herself into some grand emotional display for the cameras, turning it into the latest chapter of their complicated, very public marriage. There was no avoiding it. Whatever it was, it would become part of their shared narrative. He reached for his phone, absent-mindedly scrolling through the messages. One text from a friend simply read, "Yuck, man. Heard the news." Another from a family member, "What's going on with Kim?" His inbox was full of inquiries from the usual suspects, reporters, fans, and people who seemed more interested in his life than he was. In that moment, he realized just how much of his life had become a spectacle for the world to witness. He couldn't even answer a door in his pajamas without it turning into a headline. Despite all the drama and the feeling of being constantly under a magnifying glass, Kroy couldn't help but laugh. He wasn't about to let something like a lawsuit ruin his day. After all, he'd been through worse, way worse, and had survived. The process server could have delivered the papers in person, but at least the man didn't add more drama to the moment. That was something, right? "Ulk bye," Kroy muttered once more, sinking back into the couch, ready to face whatever came next in the ongoing whirlwind of his public life. At least for now, the only thing he had to worry about was what to do next with his morning, and whether he could get back to sleep before the world started knocking on his door again.